I'm Christine, and this is Christine Sews a Lot. Welcome to Friday Sews. Friday Sews was created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room as a way of bringing the sewing community together. If you want to find other sewing vloggers, you can search in the YouTube search bar for Friday Sews. I know I look forward to catching up on all the Friday sewing vlogs. In particular, this week I want to see Jen's to see if she's still rocking the blue hair that I saw in her Instagram post. We'll see. I have had two big wins this week. My first win was I found the pedal to my serger. I had looked high and low at our house and at my parents' house where I had stored some of my sewing supplies and other things that I didn't want the movers to move, and I could not find it. I looked and looked and looked, and one of the byproducts of it wasn't a bad thing. I ended up putting a bunch of stuff away because as I was searching through things, I went ahead and put things away so that I would know I had looked in that basket or box. So some good came out of it, but I was frustrated. I thought for a moment that maybe this was the universe's way of saying I needed an air-threaded serger. I needed to buy a new serger. But I thought that was nonsense. I needed to keep looking, and I was rewarded. I found my pedal. I went and looked in a room where we're storing a bunch of things while we're waiting to have some floor covering. So we have 3 rooms in the house that are totally empty. And that means we have a couple of the rooms in the house that are overloaded. They're not set up in any way, shape, or form. They've got loads of mattresses stacked in them and boxes and other things. So I squeezed my way into that room and I looked into some of the boxes that were open, and I found the serger pedal in a box with miscellaneous computer cords. And I think when Charlie brought over some of my things from my parents' house, he didn't understand what that serger pedal was, and he went and put it up with the random cords. So I'm glad to be reunited with my serger pedal because I have several projects that I needed to serge before I could move on with. I have 3 pairs of Hudson pants that all I need to do is serge on the cuffs of the legs, do the waistbands, thread the elastic, and they're done. I am glad that I waited a little bit because I've got the Maraflex thread by Gutermann that I've been anxious to try. I've seen so many people on YouTube and who I follow on Instagram as well use it with great success, and I want to use that to sew down the waistband and see if I get better results using that thread. I have 2 Violet Field Threads Oakland tops that I have started. Both of them are for first birthday gifts. One of them is late, the other one is coming up pretty quick. And my plan is to finish the Hudson pants because I have gray thread in my overlocker, my serger. And then I finish those and then change it over to white and quickly finish the Oakland tops. I do plan to do a review of the Oakland tops, so you should be seeing that in maybe about a month or so. So those are some projects I want to finish up. I have a cuff top that is so close to being finished. I just need to find a round to it and get to it. And a sagebrush top. That sagebrush top, everything is cut out except for the bias strip. I don't like to cut that out too early. Everything else is cut out, and I do enjoy making that top and wearing it. So those are my upcoming sewing plans. I have another plan I want to talk about. I did do some fabric buying, and I'm going to have a separate vlog post for the fabric haul on that. I'm part of Minerva's Craft Club, and they had a big 20% off sale. And I was a little bit selective in it. I got some fabrics that I can't readily get in the US, and they were fabrics that I really wanted and had definite ideas for how I would use them. And since I had the free shipping, I got a fabric swatch that I want to use to make drapes for our bedroom. Right now we have metal blinds that are quite mangled, very cheap, thin metal blinds on the French doors that lead out to the balcony off of our bedroom, or front porch really, not a balcony. And then we have windows with same said cheapo blinds. And I want to up the game, make something that looks a little elegant. And this is something that Charlie also wants. So I can feel really good about doing this for both of us and making our bedroom more serene. I plan to line the drapes with some black outlining, and I want to do a very professional job. So this is a project I'm going to put on hold until my sewing room is fully set up, and when it is, I'm going to knock them out because I am anxious to get this done. So let me show you the fabric. And I'm excited that I'm able to show you the fabric because it came today. So I ordered 12.5 yards. This is Art Gallery's Bloomsbury. And it's this beautiful bird print, and it's on a navy background. Let me see if I can show you. This light green color is very close. It's not exact, but it's very, very close to the color we had our bedroom painted. And the painter commented how nice it was to paint with color since he's doing so much gray on his other jobs. So I chose this for a couple of reasons. One, it just caught my heart. You know, when you see that fabric and you just stop and adore it. I do like the fabric. I like the colors. I like botanicals, so I do like the flowers and the branches and nature. But also, fun fact, Charlie is a bird watcher, and I like to get things with birds and incorporating. Now, I don't go nuts. I don't go crazy with birds everywhere in the house, but I judiciously like to bring birds in because it makes me think of Charlie, and I'm crazy about him. So I'm so excited. Let's see, give you a better look. So excited to get these sewn up. So this came in the mail today. Put that there. So I have to be honest. I needed to give myself a little bit of grace. I was feeling not bad, but a little bit missing out because I haven't been very productive in my sewing. And I had to give myself some grace. We moved, what, 5 or 6 weeks ago. We've spent maybe 2 weeks out of that 5 or 6 weeks away from the house, doing fun family things. And then I have been fighting this sinus infection for a week. So it's a miracle that I got anything done. And I'm not hard on myself in the way of missing out because I'm not producing as much for YouTube or any feeling of competition or worth in what I'm producing, but it just brings me so much joy. So I was feeling that lack of joy and pleasure from sewing. But to be honest, the way I've been feeling, I don't think it would have been a ton of pleasure to try to do some intricate sewing. So I gave myself some grace and accepted it, and I feel pretty good about it now. Now, there has been a lot going on in the sewing room. I'm going to show you really quick something I did accomplish. I love to make gifts for my mother for Mother's Day, and I think the past 6 or 7 years I have sewn something for her for Mother's Day. And this Mother's Day I made her a wet bag for her swimsuit, And I have a tutorial that I will link in the end cards and also in the description box below on how to make a wet bag. This is my go-to gift for baby showers, and this is the size that I make young mothers for their baby shower gift, and I thought it would be the perfect size for my mother's swimsuit, and she brings a small towel when she goes to water aerobics or goes to swim laps. But you can make this any size you want. This just happens to be the size that I made for my mother, and I think she's gonna love it. It has a handle on it. She can hook it on the back of the door, unzip it. It is made out of PUL, polyurethane laminate fabric. So that shiny side is the inside. Now for waterproofing purposes, you can go either way, but obvious with this one, the pretty side is the outside. But if you wanted to do it the reverse way, it would still be fairly waterproof. So my mother can put her swimsuit in here, put the bag in her gym bag, and her gym bag stays dry, and the contents in the gym bag stay dry. So I think she's really going to enjoy that. When I make them for a baby shower, I'll make up the wet bag and use that as my gift bag, and then whatever my baby gift is will go inside. So that is a go-to gift for me. I've made them for all the swimmers in my life. I've made a slightly larger one that he uses when we go out of town, and he puts his dirty laundry, particularly his workout clothes, inside there. And let me tell you, it is great for that purpose. So I've got a tutorial on how you can make your own, and I have a few tips for working with PUL, polyurethane laminate. So that's one thing that I accomplished. The other thing is happening in my sewing room is my sweet Charlie painted the attic. So for those of you who worried that we might not paint the attic space, because when we moved into the house, we put all my sewing supplies in the attic space because we're taking up the carpeting and putting down vinyl on the floor, you need not worry. Over the past week, when I had a little bit of energy, I dragged out all the boxes and things, and I'll insert a little clip of fast time of me pulling things out of the closet. And then last night, Charlie painted the ceiling and painted the wall, and I went and checked, and sometime this morning, he put it all back together again. Now, it's not unloaded and unpacked, but I'm gonna have to really think about how I wanna do that, so I think it's good for now. I got a call from the flooring store, and they have a date for delivery for the ceramic tile that was on back order. We're putting ceramic tile in the sunroom, and they're gonna be doing all of the flooring at once, so we've got a date for install. So that's gonna happen at the end of this month. I am so close for my dream sewing room. I purchased an additional calyx unit. I already had one. So my nephew and I are gonna be building the cutting table. I gotta get with Timothy and work on that soon. And it's good. I'm starting to feel a little better from this sinus infection. Meds are starting to work, so can get on that project. And now that I know when the flooring's going in, I'm gonna order a height adjustable table. I think I want 2 tables, but I'm gonna start out with one. I wanna make sure that I really like it and that it works for me before buying 2 of them. Now, Jen has some topics for discussion for Friday Sews in our Friday Sewing Vlogging Facebook group. And I usually forget them, but I loved today's, and I actually had something to share. And when I was watching Emma from So Do It Emma's vlog, she put it down, the question across the screen. So Emma, I'm going to copy you. And the question is, and I'm going to paraphrase it, have you ever had a garment come undone and how did you handle it? I would love to know if that's happened to you and what did you do in this situation, and I've got a story for you. I did not have to think long and hard about an instance when I'd had a garment come apart. Now, I have not had a garment malfunction. I think this is probably the only example I could think of. Yeah. And that was when I was wearing my Miette skirt. This is the Tilly and the Buttons Miette wrap skirt. I love this skirt, and I do get a lot of wear out of this. I made this in 2020. I think this is a Moda quilting cotton. It's a really nice weight. It's not as stiff as some of the quilting cottons. I like the weight of this. So when you can see it from this side better. When you construct this skirt, you're sewing these two panels together, and as you can see, I serged all of my panels before I constructed it. Then I sewed the skirt together, ironed it flat, I put on my waistband. Love this skirt. We were sitting at church. My youngest grandson was being baptized, and I happened to look down in my lap, and I noticed that the seam was pulling apart. And when I was looking at this, I was able to tug it open again. So somewhere along this front seam, I noticed it was pulling apart by maybe 2.5 inches. And I was like, oh my. So knees together, fluff the skirt a little bit, make it through church service. And after the church service, we were going to Allie's parents. Were having a very nice dinner lunch after the baptism, and we needed to pick something up before we stopped there. And so on our way to the store, and then from the store to Allie's parents' house, I got this little sewing kit that I keep in my glove box out, and I just pulled my skirt up, turned it inside out while we were driving in the car, and restitched where it had come apart, secured it, and finger pressed it down, and I was good to go. So I wore this. I knew I needed to do something because I was going to be wearing this all day, and I wanted to be dressed appropriate for such an occasion, and I knew we'd be doing some family photos. So I made the repair in the car, and it worked out well. And I've worn it many times since. I pulled this out of the dirty hamper because I wore this last week when my niece Caroline graduated from the School of Nursing at Lander University. And I wore this to her pinning ceremony. I tell you, I do love the Miette skirt, and I've gotten a lot of use out of it. So that was my mishap. That was my garment malfunction, and my save was just pulling the skirt up, sewing it in the car. Have you had any sewing mishaps? If so, let us know. What did you have come undone, and how did you fix it? I'd really love to know what you're working on. I can live vicariously through you while I am in this slower project sewing stage. I do love to see what other people are making. If you've enjoyed this video, I have others that I'll link in the end cards. And until next time, I hope you have a joyful week and that you find the good in all things, especially sewing. Bye.